Alright guys, Forsaken did something huge, including a long-awaited game mode likely becoming permanent, an overlooked survivor getting potential milestone updates, and even more. Let's get into it! After a long wait for a brand new game mode to arrive in Forsaken, players have finally gotten another look at Double Trouble, the upcoming mode that puts the killers against 16 survivors. With the public testing server finally been reopened, and has given the community a chance to try it out for themselves. And while the mode is still far from perfectly balanced, the overall response has been surprisingly positive. One of the biggest complaints during testing is that killers currently have a huge advantage. Since killers are already extremely powerful on their own, adding a second killer naturally makes survival much more difficult. Despite this, many players are saying that the mode is some of the most fun they have had in Forsaken for a long time. With 16 players in a match, the game feels much more alive and chaotic compared to the standard 8-player lobbies. The mode also introduces some unique moments that simply aren't possible in normal matches. Players have already started experimenting with different killer combinations to create powerful strategies and combos. There is even a special last man standing effect, where the entire map turns red, giving the last survivor some buffs as well, making the final moments of a match feel far more intense. Alongside the 2 vs 16 version, the developers also tested a smaller 2 vs 12 mode. During these tests, they adjusted the generator grid and made a few other changes aimed at fixing some of the larger balance issues that players discovered. While balancing 2 killers at the same time is obviously a difficult challenge, the developers are continuing to experiment with different settings to find what works best. Interestingly, community polls show that the majority of players actually prefer the 2 vs 16 version. Even though it is currently less balanced, many believe it is simply more fun due to the larger player count and the chaos that comes with it. Most players agree that the mode still needs a few adjustments before release, but the testing has been successful enough that many are hopeful it will arrive sooner rather than later. With this mode now likely being a permanent game mode in Forsaken, this is something the community has been asking for since Forsaken first released, and it is great to finally see progress being made. If Double Trouble ends up being successful, it could also open the door for even more game modes in the future. What other game modes would you like to see added to Forsaken? There is one survivor in Forsaken that many players feel doesn't get enough attention, and that survivor is Dusekkar. While Dusekkar does have milestone skins, they haven't really received any major updates since they were first released. Most of the progression simply changes his clothing without introducing anything drastically different between milestones. Because of that, many players feel that grinding for them isn't nearly as exciting as it could be. Recently, Spilled Gravy created a brand new set of milestone skin concepts showing what a full redesign could look like, and many players have been impressed with the amount of progression each milestone offers. The first milestone takes inspiration from one of Dusekkar's older sunflower-themed shirts, creating a simple but recognizable starting point. The second milestone takes a much more interesting direction with a pirate theme. Some players believe this could also be a reference to Shedletsky, as both characters are administrators. The design highlights their friendship while also adding a scar across Dusekkar's eye, making him look much more battle-worn. Moving on to Milestone 3, the concept takes inspiration from Dusekkar's wizard hat and moon shirt. In this version, one of his horns actually pierces through his eye, while a large wizard robe completely changes his design. This makes the progression feel much more noticeable compared to simply swapping clothing pieces. Milestone 4 is easily the most controversial of the concepts. Instead of keeping Dusekkar's iconic pumpkin head, the design completely replaces it with a glowing light bulb head surrounded by flames. His horns float around his head, and he gains large wings and a cape, giving him a much more similar appearance to Milestone for Guest 1337, but completely different to what we usually see. Players seem to love the progression shown throughout these concepts, although many are still hoping the pumpkin head remains part of the final design. The concepts show how milestone skins can tell a story and evolve over time rather than simply changing outfits. We've already seen survivors like Chance receive major milestone improvements in the past, so perhaps Dusekkar could eventually receive the same treatment. Does Dusekkar deserve these milestone updates? With several upcoming killers either being redesigned, scrapped, or completely reworked before release, many players have forgotten about one killer that is still technically planned for Forsaken is Jeff the Killer. While we haven't heard much about him recently, Vess has put together a fan-made redesign that completely changes the character's appearance. This concept is called Bloxbear and reimagines Jeff the Killer as an evil bear. The design took around a week to create and is much more than just a simple model. It includes custom animations, music, and a fully finished appearance that makes it feel like something that could genuinely fit into Forsaken. Some players have even compared it to an evil Teddy Bloxbint due to its unsettling look. Interestingly, this wasn't the original idea for the concept. Vess initially planned to create a 2011X-inspired design using classic Roblox packages, but the idea was eventually scrapped because it didn't resemble 2011X enough. The result was Bloxbear, a bear-like character with no eyes, a worn shirt, and a much darker appearance than the first design of the character. Because of how complete the design looks, many players have started suggesting that it could work as a future Jeff the Killer skin rather than a full replacement. Others have even joked that it could have taken the place of Easter Ripper. The weapon was changed to a sickle. While some people argue that it doesn't really look like Jeff the Killer anymore, many agree that it would make a fantastic skin to come instead. For a fan-made concept, the amount of work put into it is impressive, and it shows how many different directions Forsaken could take with Jeff the Killer in the future. Do you think Bloxbear should become an skin or a replacement? One of the most popular additions from the April Fool's update was easily John Doe, a meme skin that started as a joke but ended up becoming a fan favorite after officially making its way into Forsaken. Ever since then, players have been looking for more joke-themed skins that could potentially join the game, and one of the newest concepts that has been getting a lot of attention is a Noli skin called Nuli. Created by Cyan Box, this concept takes Noli and completely transforms him into a chef inspired by noodles. While it arrived too late to be considered for the most recent April Fool's update, many players think it would have fit perfectly alongside skins like John Doe, his body split into two distinct sides. The reason for this comes from the concept's own lore, which explains that Nuli's kitchen burned down, leaving him permanently affected by the fire. As a result, one side of his body appears normal while the other looks heavily burned and covered in flames. Instead of carrying his usual Void Star, Nuli uses a giant bowl of noodles, and the flames surrounding him are supposedly caused by his obsession with adding huge amounts of chili and spicy seasoning to his food. According to the concept, he specializes in making Lamian noodles, which helps make the design feel much more unique than a simple reskin. Many players have been saying this could have easily made it into the April Fool's update if it had been created sooner. Some have even suggested that Forsaken should fully commit to the chef theme and create an entire trio consisting of one eggs, John Doe, and Nuli. Others have pointed out that the skin's appearance slightly resembles Gus Fring after the explosion in Breaking Bad, which may have inspired part of the design. The concept has also sparked discussions about other joke chef skins, with some players suggesting Cool Kid could receive a dad at a cookout skin or pizza chef-themed skin in the future. While many expect Nuli to appear during the next April Fool's event, some believe it could potentially be considered even sooner if the Forsaken team notices how much attention the concept has been receiving. So Forsaken are cooking with the next major update. Will this be the best Forsaken update? Subscribe and hit the bell for more Forsakening it.